Howdy folks, Dreadshells here, and welcome back to another video in World of Tanks. I'm sorry for not uploading any videos for, oh gosh, I haven't even kept track. It's been probably 3, 4 weeks, something like that. I really don't have a really good reason. I just kind of been taking it easy and not making very many videos, but hopefully I'll change that in the next couple weeks. I got a lot of material that I've saved. I just need to sit down and record and make videos. So I figured that we would start out with this game in the EBR FL10. This is the Tier 8 French wheeled premium vehicle. And we are in a Tier 10 game on Redshire, a map that I quite enjoy. So let's just get started. Now, in positioning in any scout, when you're bottom tier, you need to be really careful because when you start getting into tier 9 and tier 10 games, a lot of tanks have really good view range, even if they're not scouts or even if they're not mediums. Heavies and tank destroyers also have really good view range at this tier, so you need to be cautious. I'm hoping I saw that bat chat 12T crossing there, and I was hoping that those trees right there that you see in sniper view, just the timing that he had already crossed and those trees were in line of sight. That was kind of a gamble, and I noticed right there that I'm sticking way too far out of those trees. This is a really common spot that I love to go to in Redshire South Spawn. You just come up through the riverbed, you come over, and you knock these two trees over in sequence. And you can spot where tanks are, where this 5120 is, that like to sit up in like C4, C5, and like to snipe. Um, it's a really good counter to this position. Pretty dangerous shooting here. I should not be shooting. A little overconfident of my view range. All the French wheeled vehicles have really bad view range compared to their normal scout counterparts. Um, and the tier 6, the AMD, what is it? AMD 178 has, I would say, awful view range. There we go. We spot the Death Star there. And the interesting thing about this position as well is I don't know if I have good enough view range for it in the EBR 75, but what you could also do from this position is spot tanks that are about to cross the gap where that Type 5 is over to my right. The tricky part is there's some trees here that kind of halfway up that slope, halfway in between my position and that crossing point, which kind of re makes it harder to spot tanks there. So I've noticed that in the EBR, it's more difficult for me to spot tanks crossing there. So I'm assuming view range has something to do with it, with that one tree there. Though technically the view range mechanics should not work like that. But right now I'm playing really conservative, really cautious. Once again, I'm bottom tier. There's 3 scouts on the enemy team, right? And I can't do anything proactive until most, if not all of them, are dead, right? So, um, basically, what you're doing when you're just sitting here passive, just keep track of the tanks on your team, who's on what flank. We have a really good distribution. We have a really good deployment of tanks on our team. Um, we have a couple defenders on the one line, which is all you need. The one line is very difficult to push from the south spawn because if you win the castle area in E1 F1, it's very difficult to push out from there because the snipers in C4 and anybody sitting in B1 will have you in a major crossfire until you get into the next point of cover in C1. So I would not recommend doing that. But unfortunately, what you're about to start seeing here on the minimap, um, I'm taking cues here. The reason why I'm moving now is because of my T49 teammate there. He had already moved up in the riverbed far enough there to where he wasn't spotting any other tanks that were on the 9-0 lines except for the 4005, right? So I knew it was safe for me to move up at least to D8. Now you want to be careful how high you crest the ridge behind me. If you see where that 5120 is, if you're cresting and roll scouting the ridge this way, there's usually always tanks sitting back here because it's a sniper position for tanks that like to defend against um, the team that's coming from the south, that's coming out of the 9-0 lines. So pretty aggressive, reckless play, but hey, that's what wheelies do, and half the time they get away with it. So I feel like I need to push the tempo of this game because if you're looking over on the mini map, the enemy team have invested a ton of tanks over on the 1-2 line for some weird reason. I don't see that very often. So I'm just trying to keep these guys lit on the ridge for my team that are pushing out of the 9-0 lines, just to give them shots as they're moving. And it's not looking very good. We're down 4 tanks. It's 4-8 right now, and the enemy team still have 2 scouts left alive. So this is really bad. So I'm thinking to myself, there is no way that we are going to win this game without me providing vision on this ridge. So I have to risk it, right? I have to risk getting shot here. Oh, some bad driving there. Another the Bat Chat 12T decides to engage us. That was a misplay by him. He was able to shoot us a couple times, but we were able to trade his tank for some of my hit points. So this is this is a really good fundamental to learn in any tank. Try to preserve your hit points as long as possible, because later on in the game you can trade your hit points for kills, right? To take enemy guns out of the fight, so to say. I had repaired my radio operator, which I normally would not be terribly concerned about in any tank that I'm playing, but I need every little bit of view range I can get out of the EBR here, and most French wheeled vehicles, because my starting view range is so poor. I'm assuming here that the Bat Chat is reloading because he had already killed our arty, and he had already shot at a couple of our tanks on the ridge, right? I wanted to be really proactive there and engaging him because he was spotting the 3 or 4 tanks that were sitting up from our team up in F9 right behind me. So if he stays alive there, or the longer he stays alive there, the longer that my teammates are spotted and the longer that they're getting shot at, right? So I want to kill that Bat Chat as soon as possible. So right now, this other Bat Chat 12T is putting a lot of cap pressure on us. So this is the reason why I stayed over here. Reload high explosive there to engage him, because the EBRs get really good high explosive. 260 alpha and 75 pen, which is really good. I wait for him to reach the apex of his turn. This is something that you can learn for engaging EBRs in any fast tank, not just EBRs, other scouts, or certain medium tanks that are that agile. If you're having a hard time hitting them, no, pro driving once again. Just wait until they reach the point where they're stopped traversing across your tank, and they're a lot easier to hit. So, well, I did not expect the defender here at all, so now I'm kind of in semi-panic mode, trying to just out-traverse his gun, and luckily I was able to long enough to for one of my teammates to help me here. So we pulled it back, actually. We're still behind, but I'm able to provide enough vision for my team that we're actually starting to even out the kills a little bit. You'll notice that me driving into that rock over in I think it was in C6, and that house not too long ago. Um, the part of the reason that I'm doing that by accident is that I keep underestimating the EBRs have kind of a um, wide traverse when going full speed, wide turning arc, I should say. So if you want to turn sharply in the EBR, you can do it one of 2 ways. You can either take your finger off the accelerator and just turn the tank so you're not going full speed when you're turning. That helps you turn pretty sharp. And the other way that you can turn sharp is to disengage the wheeled vehicle from turbo mode and turn. That also allows you to turn pretty sharp. So it just depends on the situation. I'm still learning how to do that. Was not expecting the prototype here. Honestly, that was a really bad misplay. I almost overdrove and almost drove into his gun and gave him an easy shot. Pretty surprised that he did not shoot me there. He did have a shot on me. I reloaded high explosive once again because the side and the rear of that tank is pretty squishy. This tank absolutely destroys scouts. These tanks, the new wheeled French vehicle line, in my opinion, they're not true scouts, although they obviously can scout very well, except for the tier 6. The tier 6 is garbage, guys. Don't play it. The AMD 178. I might give you guys some gameplay of that, but honestly, it'll probably be really boring because that tank is terrible. It's as blind as a bat. Every tank can outspot you, and you're really tall, and yeah, you're basically a tank destroyer with wheels with the tier 6 wheeled vehicle. But anyway, back to the game. So now I'm we've been in triage mode ever since we were down 4-8, right? So I'm just trying to I'm letting the enemy push in, right? But in hopes that they're doing it one by one. This Borsig has a terrible crew that he did not spot me. I, I'm like 200 meters away from him. Any tank player with a decent crew in their RHM would have spotted me, even when moving, right? My camo is really good. It's over 40%. I think it's like 43, 44% with every all my equipment and everything, my loadout. But even considering that, he still should have spotted me. So yeah, he definitely had a bad crew. And now we've after about 2 minutes ago, I've decided that I actually have a legit chance of winning the game. Right. I'm pretty disappointed that that second shot didn't pen because it means that he's a two clip for me still. The EBR the CBR has the normal. I think it's like 175 is the alpha. Yeah, 175, 180 pen with the APCR. My loadout, I decided from the moment that I got the tank that I would just do like a third of each ammo type, and it seems to work out really well because the high explosive is really good. So you want to carry a lot of that. The heat you'll need for when you're in higher tiers. Once again, really bad situational awareness of where the obstacles are on the map, and honestly, I should have gotten shot there at least once, if not be dead right now. And really bad anticipation. Oh, the arty shoots at me there, and luckily misses, only does splash damage. Right now, just trying to do some evasive driving so that the Centurion misses me, and he does miss me. Our E100 hits him. I get some assistance damage there, so I know the E100 hit him. Unfortunately, I only think was doing high explosive. Our E100 is shooting high explosive for some weird reason. I'm not sure why. But yeah, so we've been in defensive triage mode ever since we were down 4-8. So basically, my entire role up until this point has been surfing these two sides of our position, right? Because we won the 9-0 lines over here, right? If you look at the mini map, we won this area over here, but they completely won the rest of the map. So I was basically going back and forth between this ridge here, if you look on the mini map, and like C7, and this side of the map in H8, bouncing back and forth, trying to keep vision on both flanks to hopefully give enough spots for my team that we could do enough damage to the enemy team as they pushed into us that we could even it out. And so far it worked out really well. But now we're really pressed for time, and now that I can go on the offensive here and try to find Artie, really surprised that I didn't find him back here in A1, and wasn't sure where he would be. I was pretty confident at the time here that if I didn't find him in A1, that I would find him in the castle area over here in like E1, F1, or maybe just on the other side in G1. T92 has 500 hit points, so It might have been a better idea to load high explosive, but even then it would be kind of a 50-50 if I would kill him in a single clip or not. So spot the Death Star there, and he's looking the wrong way. I notice which direction his turret is facing right now. So I know I have the speed if I go around at this angle here to out traverse his gun here. And there and the Centurion hits him there. We're running really low on time in the game here. There's only 30 seconds left. So I spotted the Centurion when he fired at me, right? And now I'm killing the artillery, right? I'm trying to ping the map to encourage the E100 to engage the Centurion, right? Because I don't have enough time to kill the Centurion and the artillery, right? Almost do a boo-boo there. Did do a boo-boo because I lost all my speed in engaging him. Not and also doing another boo-boo here by not noticing that I only had one APCR shell left. That was really, really bad. Have enough time to just load my clip here, hoping the Centurion misses so I can kill him, but he doesn't. But the E100 saves the day. He drove around the corner just in time, and he killed the Centurion with like 2 seconds left in the game. So, and as you can see in chat here, I was so happy because I had worked really, really hard to try and win this game by bouncing back and forth, and trying to give as much vision and doing as much damage as I could as the enemy pushed in. Right, they basically won all the rest of the map, and their mistake was is that they drove in kind of in ones and twos, and they didn't really give good vision for the vision tanks. Kind of held back. Their Batchat 12T was sitting over here, and he was capping instead of moving up here to like K6 or K8, where he could have spotted easily our snipers that were sitting up here in G9. So basically the I loved how this game evolved. I had a lot of fun playing it. About how the enemies were really aggressive here, and they blew up our 1-2 line flank, and we won the 9-0 lines pretty decidedly, but that was mainly because they didn't really send any tanks over here. They only sent a Type 5, and he was all by himself, and then there was a 4005 sitting back here sniping, and that was it. So it was really, really tentative if we would ever win this game, but we ended up pulling it out. So I got to give credit where credit's due. I had some really, really good support from my teammates. The C100 did a really good job. The T95 did a really good job in supporting me, and a couple of the other guys that tried to keep their guns firing for the spots that I gave them. So yeah, it was a really fun game. Hopefully you guys enjoyed watching this game. And I'll be giving you guys some more gameplay footage in the days ahead. Mainly focused on the EBR FL 75 FL10. Goodness, that is a mouthful. And some other wheeled vehicles here, because that is the newest thing that's in World of Tanks as far as Scouts is concerned. So this gives you an idea of what it's like to play this tank. It's really fast. It has some really, really unique attributes. I'm sure a lot of you are wondering if I think this tank is balanced or not. Honestly, I think it's yes and no. It's a mixed answer. I don't think it's balanced in the sense that it's of its role. I think they're too fast is what I think. I like that they're agile and that they have that there's something unique. But I think that they're all the top speed of all these tanks needs to be nerfed by 5 kilometers per hour. I believe, in my opinion, and their unique attributes shouldn't be so much that their top speed is how fast they accelerate to that top speed. Right, is what I think wargaming should do with these tanks. Other than that, I think they're okay-ish. But yeah, I'll end the video now before I start rambling, and I'll save my more detailed thoughts of these tanks for another time. So hopefully you guys enjoyed watching the gameplay. Happy hunting out there, and take care.